Okay. All right. Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay. Here we go.
When you miss an episode, anything can happen.
That's what I mean. You missed an episode. I don't. Why is everyone like getting so tight pants about this?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Five Idiots Talking Boys. It is our Sunday night episode where it's topic-driven. We have an interesting topic tonight. I think everyone will, I don't know if appreciate's a good word, but find interesting for sure. Let's bring the guys in now. There's Charles.
Big investigation, John. We're doing a big investigation in the podcast.
Whoa, something's going on. Chris, what's going on?
Tonight's the night where we find out who's been naughty and who's not been nice.
Ooh, whoa. Brandon's eating his microphone.
Oh, who's naughty? I can't wait to see.
Wrong show, Brandon. Wrong
Naughty.
show.
Sorry, is this after dark?
This isn't After Dark.
Oh, who's on my naughty list?
That's Brazos.
Is there spankings?
So, and I guess we can bring Shane in.
Oh, he's not here again. Oh,
He's not. So,
okay. All right. Well, the show must go on.
the show must go on, right? That's what we've said for 3 years. If you can't make it, you can't make it.
I mean, I think this is a funny episode. It's a in-depth look of what goes on behind the show.
Yes, how the
Not
sausage
just-
is made.
Not just during the show, but what goes on behind the show, behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that we put up with, laugh at, deal with, complain about, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's perfect for the end of the year.
Yeah.
Perfect for the end of the year.
What's the name of this episode called?
Who's touching my?
Who's touching my Okay.
Is that we're going to keep it? Should we keep it?
Yeah, we can.
We'll edit it out.
Well, we can
What
put
is
the
that?
picture of Jeff Goldblum on Jurassic Park when he's touching the big pile of dinosaur shit.
So what does that mean? What's happening?
Well,
Is Brandon
Right,
alive?
that's the way to put it.
Is Brandon alive? Okay, there he is.
Brandon is alive. He's got a lot of work on his mind right now, I think.
Sorry, Brandon. I know the radio,
Stuff is going down on the West Coast.
Oh boy,
We have no idea, do we?
if you only knew.
So who's touching our stuff?
Who's touching you, Charles?
I think the best way to explain the situation is that there are 5 of us, and there's 5 people that have, specific jobs for the show, whether it's handling Patreon and posting stuff, handling the podcast page on Facebook and handling stuff, who does the videos, the editing, who posts on YouTube, who does Rogue 5 toys, who handles all sorts of stuff. eBay affiliate links. There's many things in this big hamster wheel of a show that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And we try and have a specific job to each person, just so we're not stepping on each other's toes and always touching each other's stuff. But there always seems to be one guy who loves to touch everything. Everything.
Charles?
I would say that's Brandon because that just fits the bang bus from the Wins and Whiffs a couple weeks ago. It fits Brandon.
What?
He loves touching. So
I don't know what he's talking about either, but
The
Yeah,
bang
you weren't here.
Where was I?
you missed
I
it.
wish I would have known about my own voyage on the bang bus.
I had the Fortnite bus Brandon was eyeballing this thing like it was a bang bus.
Oh,
Oh.
God.
The Fortnite bus Lego, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Is
it
yeah,
still worth
there's
money?
who's that person that we're talking about?
Well, somebody touched something with what? With Patreon or what actually happened?
Well, okay.
The latest, yeah. Brandon, fill us in on the latest
Well,
FUBAR.
there's only two of us here that really mess with Patreon. It's myself and Chris, right? So we do everything Patreon. We're really the only ones that are on the page every day. And somehow I had just gotten done, or maybe Chris did it before me. Something happened a few days ago where Chris tried to log in and he was unable to log in. And every time he put in a password, it just wouldn't log him in. It kept booting him out. I had no issues logging in and posting stuff that day. He had an issue. And then he went to go in and try to log in. And then it started, doing the 2-step verification where it would send it to our podcast email. And then somebody would have to log in there and verify it. And it would pop up in John's phone. Very, very weird stuff. We have
People need People need to realize that if Brandon and I are doing something on Patreon and for whatever reason we need to like validate a code or an email, whatever, everything gets sent to John's phone. So John is always involved, sending out codes, clicking on the appropriate number for Google, hitting yes or whatever. So John is always like that person that's getting tons of notifications and he has no clue what the hell's going on right now.
What kind of phone is
typically,
it? What kind of phone is it again?
It's a Motorola
flip phone.
I didn't even know they were. I didn't even know they still made Motorola.
No, it sends it to his pager, and then he calls the number on his pager, and then it pulls up the code. Yes.
And if you flip it upside down, it says boobies.
Exactly. Well, see, the thing is, we haven't had an issue like this in quite a while because typically Christopher and Brandon are logged in. Like, they're logged in. Like, you can save your password and all that stuff. All they have to do is click patreon.com or whatever. I don't know the process. And they go in and they're already logged in, right?
We have the app on our phone. We're already logged in. There's no reason why it would really boot us out. I've been on for about 8 months now, every day, no problem. I'm literally on Patreon, the app, every single day, doing something, whether I post, responding to somebody, or just checking over everything, making sure that there's nothing going on. I'm on there every day and never have a problem. And I think the only reason why someone would get booted is if there's 5 of us and maybe someone else tries to log in, because they're only going to give access to so many people logging in at all different states of the country, because we all live in different areas.
Charles, have you tried to log in?
I don't even know what it is.
Me neither.
I have no idea what the name and password is. I don't even know the website. I have no idea.
I ended up getting logged out. I was trying to log myself back in. At that point, I didn't know why. So all the codes, all the emails, everything's going to John's phone. So now I have to go through John to say, Google's saying number 89. He has to click number 89 on his side so he can shoot back on my phone for this 2-step verification stuff. Just really, really annoying stuff. So after about an hour going back and forth, nothing is working. Finally, he gets me in. We take away, the 2-step verification code. And John does some digging and some searching. And you can see who's logged in and I guess from where you've logged in. And there was one login from New Jersey. And all the rest are from, our hometown areas.
I'm in Georgia.
What state is that again?
New Jersey.
Oh. New Jersey.
So Exhibit A shows a login from New Jersey.
I'm in New York. Chris?
I am in New York.
John?
I'm in Georgia.
And Brandon?
California.
Is there someone on our podcast from New Jersey?
The guy that doesn't show up anymore.
Shane.
Oh, Shane is from New Jersey.
So
that's very interesting.
After saying over and over and over and over again, it wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. There just happens to be a logon from New Jersey. Then he tries to blame it on me, saying that was the day I went to Atlantic City, and while I'm driving in the car, I'm logging in, because I have to pass that way.
It was bouncing off cell towers.
Yeah, he's literally checking the map and saying, this is the direct, here's the exact way you would go to Atlantic City, and it was definitely you because it bounces off of this tower, that tower, all that stuff. And to be honest with you, it actually sounds like a fantastic story, but there's only one problem wrong with the whole story.
Were you in Atlantic City?
No, I was in New York that day. I was nowhere near Jersey. I didn't even probably leave my house that day.
Did you leave your phone somewhere at a casino?
It did not go on a train and come back around the next day. So that's what was funny was it wasn't me. And then when we checked to see the logins, there's one login from New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he's still denying it. And this is why we try and everybody that, have a specific job so that we're not overstepping each other and touching each other's crap. Because if John's doing something and he doesn't do it, maybe to Charles's liking, it's not up to Charles to complain and say something. It's John that's doing the job. John's taking the time and doing the work.
And if you have a problem with it, I'm open for someone to say, hey, man, maybe we need to tone that down. All right?
The only thing I've ever done, and I've maybe done it once, is I know John hates when someone goes in and changes the title of the YouTube episode.
Oh, my God.
So just to rile him up, someone's got to let his blood flow a little bit sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
I'll go in and I might have done it once or twice. I've changed the title, like very slightly, just so John sees it and he notices it, and right away he blames Shane.
Well, because it's like I was telling Chris the other day. You have a glass of water.
Oh, I love this metaphor, I guess you would say. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you have a glass of water. You go into the kitchen. You set it down on the counter. Then you remember, oh, yeah, I got to take out the garbage. So you take the garbage out and you come back in. Nobody else is in the room. You come back in. Your glass is empty and in the sink.
Where did the water go?
Yeah. Somebody decided that water wasn't being used and dumped it and put the glass in the sink.
Oh, I always do that at home.
So that's the metaphor for what's been going on.
I just love when Shane always touches the titles to all your episodes and deletes hashtags and puts all this and that, and then but the worst thing is he doesn't say anything. So then you end up seeing it, and then you get so mad because you're like, well, I just spent, let's say, a half an hour doing this. Now someone just goes in and changes something and doesn't even tell you.
Yeah.
So let's just look at how it is.
Okay.
Obviously, Brandon has the login. He had no problems with it. He's not screwing with the login. John has no idea how to log in. I have no idea how to log in. Okay. So then Chris normally logs in. All of a sudden, he can't log in.
And why would they screw with it? Why would one of these two screw with it?
Maybe.
I don't even know what the login is. I hope I don't get booted.
I have it saved on my phone, but
I'm assuming Shane logged in. I mean, all he has to do is just say, yeah, I went to go log in. Same as John. If John wants to log in one day,
no one's going to say anything.
Yeah, it's his podcast. He can go log in. For whatever reason, I guess Shane won't say that he logged in, but like obviously something happened. Like someone has to do something for something, something to happen. So someone had to have logged in.
That's a pretty big thing.
Not me.
Well,
happened.
I don't even know the website.
If anybody but me or Chris wants to log into Patreon, I would probably ask why.
Yeah.
First.
I mean,
yeah.
I would want to log in just to see some of the episodes because I can't watch them.
Why is that?
You're our number one.
Why do we have what do we have on there that you can't get anywhere else?
After Dark?
Exclusives.
Yeah.
After Dark.
So
I can watch it on StreamYard though, John, right?
So dark.
You can watch what we like the rough.
Yeah, the rough
cut.
Not,
Yeah.
So rough.
Not the
So
edited
rough.
version.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can watch the rough cut on StreamYard. But now, here's the thing. You guys are seeing what I've been complaining about for the past 3 years. And 2.5 of those years, these 3 have been, oh, come on, John.
Loving it.
Oh, come on, John.
No, but they're
and
like
now you
helping-
see, I'm not crazy.
He's trying to help though. So like for like his side of it, he's only trying to help. This one thing, he should have just said, "Hey, I went to go log in so I can watch a video." Just admit it. Like, who cares?
At no point do I ever think Shane is doing anything maliciously or anything.
No, I don't either.
He is doing things specifically to help, but I think he's just doing things in the wrong way to help.
So here's what someone does when they
Really?
lie.
Grinds his gears.
When someone lies, they don't just say, "Nope, wasn't me," and then stop. They keep going. Chris, you were going to Atlantic City. You definitely logged in when you're on your way. You live closer to that spot from Long Island than I do from New Jersey. That's what you do when you lie.
He was taking snapshots
moving
of
the
the
needle.
map
Exactly.
and the road of what I would take, and when I'm like,
Exhibit B.
he
Exhibit
actually
B,
got
John.
me
Post
thinking.
it,
I was like, "Oh, was I on the way to Atlantic City that day?"
Do what, Brandon?
You have to post the Exhibit B, the map.
Okay, I'll post it. Yes, the map.
Yeah.
Exhibit B. What's
Yeah.
Exhibit A?
And here's the thing.
Exhibit A was oh crap, I don't remember.
I appreciate feedback.
Oh, Exhibit A was the picture of the login from New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I'll post those pictures. But the thing is like I appreciate feedback. You know, I appreciate. I can even appreciate criticism.
Oh, I loved it when I gave John feedback one time because I was posting one of our videos on Patreon and I noticed that John misspelled like 3 words. And I was like, "Oh man, I got this teacher really good." And I was like, "John, hey, I changed the title because you misspelled like 3 words." He was like, "Oh, thanks for doing that."
Yeah,
but I told him.
He told me.
So
He told me.
I don't want to offend. I don't want to offend you, John, but you misspelled 3 words.
Yeah. Hey, it happens.
why did we do this episode? So that at the end of the episode, Shane's not here. Not by design. He's just not here. We were going to do this episode anyway.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, who do you think logged in and screwed up the whole Patreon account? Shane, Chris, John, me, or Brandon? Throw it in the comments who you think it
Comment
is.
down below.
Now, Shane's not here to talk, but Shane's side of it is Chris lives closer to this spot than he does, and he showed us on a map.
In Jersey.
He does live closer. Shane said he didn't do it. And what else did he say?
I don't know, but when I saw Shane, he also said that he didn't eat the chocolate chip cookie, yet he had chocolate chips all over his mouth and chocolate and chocolate all over his fingers. So, that's usually the first sign that someone's wrong.
I just want to give Shane's side of the story so that when you throw in the comments who you think it was, you have his side.
When we first started doing this whole show, obviously, again, there's 5 of us. It's very hard to get jobs done where people are not stepping on each other's toes. Everyone had a specific duty. Charles did TikTok and Twitter and stuff like that. And so my first job of the show, first job, was making a post of every episode that was upcoming. So Wednesdays and Sundays. I would either post it on Tuesday and Saturday, or I would do it early Wednesday and early Sunday of what was coming up for episode that day. Well, after doing it for a couple of months, Shane did not like the way that I was doing it. I was not doing it properly because I wasn't cut and copying the link, this or that, whatever the case may have been.
I remember that. Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Then if you can do it better, I am all for it. You do it. Yeah. So I stopped. Shane took over the job and lasted about the length of this episode. And now those episodes do not get posted at all anymore. No one gets notified of anything that's coming up. And that's still Shane's job as far as I'm concerned. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
I honestly don't know anyone's job, but I really want to know who logged in and messed up the account.
I mean,
it's in charge of Instagram, right?
So me?
I'm in charge of that.
No,
now.
that's correct.
Oh, okay.
So we can't
Now
show
I am.
our actual chat, but this was Shane versus Chris for about a day. Like they were going at it, a lot of gifts back and forth.
And I don't even know how it actually was a conversation back and forth when it specifically said the login was in New Jersey and I live in New York. And I live 5 minutes from Charles. So Charles technically would be considered living closer also.
I was impressed. I thought it was you that actually pulled up the login locations and then you just admitted that it was John.
No. That was old. That was old. John.
I was like, wow, how did Chris pull that up? I mean, that's pretty good. Man, I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah. Shane's into the triangulations, and
this was a huge deal behind the scenes.
Now, granted, listen, I could have been just knocked off and booted and re-logged in for many. He tried to blame it on me going to Phoenix that it booted me off. Meanwhile, I've been out of the country 6 times since, never got booted. I went to Phoenix with Brandon. Brandon didn't get booted off. He's still on.
We were actually posting from Phoenix.
That is correct.
This was Friday, right?
Someone's got to be on Shane's side. Maybe Brandon wants to be the only guy that logs in, and he knocked you out from his account because he wants to be the only guy in control of it.
And I was actually going to say, if that's the case, since I post a lot of collections, I have to message him all of my pictures and what he has to write into the post.
It's a giant pain in the ass.
So he ends up doing double the work then.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got to look at every angle.
So we do have to look at every angle.
If it booted me out and I couldn't log in, I would tell Chris, good luck. Here,
but I will say from my experience that my experience kind of taints who I think did it. Right? Well, I know in court you're not allowed to use other people's charges and all this other stuff, but from what I've experienced, I think it was Shane.
Well,
I don't think it was Shane. I know it was Shane.
I'm going to give one more angle.
Yeah.
The next angle is John is in complete control of his podcast. Every password, every email goes to John. We can't touch a website without it has to text John a code, and John's got to give it to us. So, in fairness, John wants complete control. He has no control with Patreon at all. He supposedly doesn't know how to log on. So let's just say, we're throwing every angle out there.
John started it.
John knocked Chris off because he wants to be the second guy on Patreon, because only two, maybe only 2 guys can log in. Because I had a login at one point, and then
you did?
Yeah.
Charles was on there before I was on.
I actually gave mine up so Chris can have it because I'm useless on there. What the hell am I
doing?
You
didn't want to work
because Shane said that there was only 2 people allowed on there.
Okay, so there you go. So a third person tried to log in. So did John try to log in because he wants control of it?
No.
So so John did drive up to Kentucky for a concert, and then he came down through New Jersey.
He must have pinged on that exact cell tower.
New Jersey to Georgia to Louisville.
We have to give Every angle has to be looked at.
I'm going to tell you why I think it was Shane, and it's not because he was really defensive.
Can I defend myself real quick
Go ahead.
from this guy right here?
You're not on trial.
Go ahead. Yeah, you're not on trial, but go
Right
ahead.
here. I do not want to be in control. Okay, let's just say that I do not want to be in control. I started all this stuff.
I mean,
No, I started all this stuff because no one else was doing anything. So everything is in my name, and nobody else would do anything.
That sounds about right.
So yeah,
Well, the podcast was John's idea, is his baby. So
well, I don't want to. It's not like I want to be in control. I'm just going to say that.
So
Okay.
once
Go
upon
ahead.
once upon a story, there was a time on my Facebook app when you would click on the bottom right-hand corner, I was able to switch back and forth between my two Facebook profiles. One of them is Christopher Walminster, and one of them is 5 Idiots Talking Toys. It's our Facebook podcast page.
Mm-hmm.
We all got away to Nashville for the ICC con just recently. For whatever reason, and it could have been me, the whole me switching profiles, it was just gone. I wasn't even able to log in anymore. I was just like a viewer. I was just like a regular person who would like the page,
really,
and you can see whatever you like. I had no access to the actual podcast page itself.
mine still switches back and forth.
Yeah, mine does.
Once upon a time, someone also blocked a few people on there and said that he did not do it. So I went on there and I unblocked these said people because I didn't think it was fair to block people on a podcast page. I thought it was stupid. So I went ahead and I started mingling and I unblocked the people on there. So fast forward, like obviously months and months later, I go on my phone to make a post on the Facebook podcast page. I have no access anymore. It disappears. The only profile I have is mine. I can't even log into it. I can't do nothing. Now, do I think Shane did that? No, I do not think he did that. But I'll tell you what Shane did do. After he figured it out for me at the airport with Charles, Shane got me the access. He actually took the time and did it. I was very thankful for it. After we did everything, we got to the final step. And the final step was, do you want to grant Christopher Walminster limited access to the page or full access to the page? Now, meanwhile, the 4 of you fools, or the 3 of you fools, counting him 4, actually, you guys have full access. He tells me, well, you don't really do anything on the page, so you don't need full access. I'm just going to give you limited access. And I go, Shane, I make posts and I unblock people and do things on there. If the 4 of you have full access, why in the world would I have limited access? It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense.
He goes on this thing, this whole spiel, in the Shane Davidson sort of way, to explain why he thinks I need limited access. At that point, I didn't care. I just wanted to be back on the page to have some sort of control. So now I have the podcast on my phone again. I am able to do certain things because I was only granted with limited access because he felt it was necessary that I didn't need full access. But the 4 of you guys all need full access.
Makes sense.
You can have my full access.
It makes perfect sense in the world that we live in.
Yeah.
So Shane's not here. Out of all fairness, somebody's got to go on the other side sometimes.
Well, it's going to be Shane. So on the next episode, we can have him on to defend himself.
Yes.
We'll have the defendant up on the stand.
Can't wait.
If this was Shane and I was Shane, he would be saying right now, Chris, you lost your access for the Facebook Patreon page. Then you lost your access to the Patreon page. Maybe it was you that you lost both of those things on your own, and Shane
100%.
has nothing to do with it.
100%. And when it comes to computers and apps, Shane is 1 million times smarter than me in all technology. I will never doubt that ever. But Exhibit B specifically says the login occurred from New Jersey.
That was Exhibit A.
That was A. Sorry.
Yeah.
Exhibit
the
A.
map is B.
Exhibit B was the map.
The map is B. Exhibit A shows a login from New Jersey. Once again, I don't live in New Jersey. So I was not logging in at that day or time. I was logging in from New York. And
You
it
should see
actually
the process.
shows, it actually does show Wantor, New York in all the other areas. When I was logging in, it shows Wantor, New York.
Yeah.
You should see the process that it takes Chris to even log on to the podcast.
Oh
He-
my
he
gosh.
can't even click
It
on
is
the link. He's
It
unable.
worked
He has
for
to
all
type
of
it in
us.
Yeah.
with a typewriter.
We
It's
should make an
working.
episode. We should make an episode on that.
He does it. He has to type it in with a typewriter. He asked John to spell it out for him. I'm not even
He's like-
joking. John,
He's like, can you
"I
send me
can't
the
find
link? He's like,
Ding. Yeah, he's like, can you send me the code? And we're like, what are you talking about?
what code are you talking about?
The letters? And we're like, oh, what? So John sends him this
then
gibberish.
I'm like,
he goes, oh, okay, thanks.
The
And next thing
email
you know, he logs
address?
in.
And it
The
works.
address to the thing. Yeah.
He's like, I do it all on my phone. I'm like, yeah, well, if I just click the thing that John sends and it pops up on my phone.
Running a podcast with 5 people and making sure that everything gets done is not. That is actually the most difficult job of this whole podcast. It's not really signing on. It's not really sitting here for hours talking. It's trying to divvy up 5 people to do.
I think
jobs.
we're at a good spot right now, though, because I think when we first started off, everybody was switching jobs. I remember Charles wanted to edit to alleviate some of John's burden, and John said, no, I'll just continue editing. And then he complained about editing. So then Charles was like, well, I'll edit. And then John's like, no, I'll keep the editing. And I think John's finally figured out how to edit and at a quicker pace. But I remember we were all switching jobs. I was the one in charge of the calendar. Remember the calendar? And then Charles is like, well, I'm going to make the topic idea thing, which lasted 2 seconds. And the calendar, nobody could log in on. And I hated the calendar. And then Shane took over the calendar. He loved the calendar. And then the Twitter. And then the Instagram. And then the Facebook. And then
TikTok.
It all became too much. And
So let me ask you a question. This is for you, Brandon. What is your current job on this show in general? Like, what do you do?
I promote the podcast, I promote sales, and I promote Patreon page. That is what I do. Everything with Patreon. That is my thing, and I think everybody is okay with that, and I just go with that.
John, what is your job on this show?
Well, I'm a subordinate to Brandon when it comes to Patreon. Because he's always like, do you have the video ready yet? And I'm like, God dang, no.
John's kind of pissed about Patreon.
But that's good that Brandon's doing that though, because it just shows he's taking charge.
I nag the shit out of John on a weekly basis. Like, I need it. We got 2 days to put it up. Like,
Audience, keep it in mind. John doesn't like. He doesn't like that.
No, that's not what I don't like. What I don't like is the glass being cleared off of the freaking counter in the kitchen when I take the garbage out and come back. And it's
so, John, can you answer the damn question? What is your job?
John, you do the most work.
Jesus
You
Christ.
edit the shows.
I edit the shows.
That's by far the most work.
I don't think you even needed to go any further. That's by far the most job. Honestly.
And post them on YouTube and schedule them.
And Apple Podcasts. And
the alarms go off every
else.
Sunday and Wednesday at 5:25 for me to post them, so I don't forget to post them. I mean,
what do you do, Charles?
I obviously wear the smallest shirts. I'm the best looking. I do the YouTube comments. So if someone responds to you, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
I also
we get about 3 comments per video, if that. But okay.
I also advertise. I actually get more sales of Lego than you guys actually think, and I throw in our sticker in every single one. I literally mail probably 5 packages a day. So there's a lot of podcasts going out. So I do whatever you guys need me to do. I'm always available. I never log in other than YouTube. I'll screw with John like once every 6 months,
Which is funny though, yeah.
just to rile him up a little bit. But other than that, I don't even know the website for Patreon. I don't even have a clue.
Yeah.
And what do you do, Chris?
Yeah, Chris.
Well, I'm like Brandon. I handle Patreon. I help bring many people over to Patreon and explain to them that we actually have a Patreon and get many people to join by posting all the collections that we have for sale on Rogue 5. That Shane insists that Rogue 5 has nothing to do with the podcast whatsoever, when in my eyes they kind of intertwine and they go hand in hand. And
okay.
To say that there are two different entities to me is beyond crazy. I think it is completely one thing and one thing, together. I handle a lot that goes on Rogue 5, probably because I do the most sales, which is perfectly fine. I'm not saying anybody should be doing anything anyway. I'm on there every day anyway, and I'm just used to it. And then I kind of handle Instagram. Now, does much get done on Instagram? No, not really. But I do make posts. I do put up Patreon stuff, like congratulating members that are on and thanking them for being part of it. Once in a while, I'll put up like sneak previews of just stupid stuff, or I'll build a box we have in the show, just like little things that we have. So
we need that done. So
I'm trying to stick my hand in further and take more of a role going forward. Now that I don't get yelled at every 4 seconds for doing something.
So
yeah.
Before we end the show, and this is not to sway anyone's opinion at all, we're just going to go round robin. Who do you think is the culprit in logging in? You can explain why or who or whatever, but you can just say the name and just move on, whatever you want. Ron?
Abstain.
What did you say?
Abstain.
I said abstain.
You won't say?
No, we can't. We can't because we're doing another episode with Shane.
Oh, that's right.
You have to vote at the end.
Yeah.
I say we vote
can't
now.
ask the jury. No, we got to put the defendant on the stand.
He has the right to
defend himself.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a good
now.
episode. Actually, I can't wait for that episode.
It's gonna be a fantastic episode.
Yeah.
We'll let our viewers decide, the jurors.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to shock everyone.
Okay.
Since no one else wants to go around naming people.
Wait, don't say it.
I think it was John.
Oh, trust me, if you had to go through what I went through on Friday, here's the thing with me. I understand that there
Don't
are
over-explain. If you over-explain, then you're proving my point.
Well, I understand that there are consequences for actions. I don't like facing consequences for actions, so I don't do the actions that are going to force me to deal with consequences. So it wasn't me.
So I think that I think this is painting. First of all, I think that Chris himself out of it. Which is, I think Chris booted himself out of it. So, and I just think that there's enough evidence to prove that Shane is guilty by association, but not for actually doing this crime. I don't think that Shane did this crime. I just think that Chris booted himself out.
Wow. Hey, that's why we're going around the room.
I mean, and in general, I would say that I booted myself out too. And that somehow it just stopped working after 8 months of working flawlessly. But when you see a login that comes from New Jersey, out of nowhere, the one and only time in literally like 2 months before that, and now all of a sudden it doesn't work when I go on. And Shane specifically said we can only have 2 people logging on at a time, not 3, because it's gonna throw out the algorithm and people signing in and signing out.
It was gonna lock us all out of it.
It was gonna lock us out of some crap.
Chris got locked out.
Now all of a sudden I get locked out. I am gonna go with the obvious answer and say that if a guy says that he wasn't eating chocolate chip cookies but he has chocolate all over his face, his hands, and his toes. I'm going to go with Shane. It's Shane.
So we have one, I won't say. We have
Abstain.
one that's blaming Chris. We have one that's blaming John, and one that's blaming Shane. So in the comments, throw in there who you think it is. There's only part one. Shane's not on here yet. We're going to do a part 2 with Shane. It probably
After
won't
Christmas.
be good. Shane may log
Yeah.
off. Chris may log off. I may log off. Who knows?
Well,
Hopefully,
we'll
hopefully
see.
Brandon will log off.
We'll see. Shane will pull up Exhibit C that shows the comments about how Chris can't even log into the podcast correctly
Yeah, that's,
on StreamYard.
Shane's
He'll
got
prove
a
his
lot.
point.
Shane's got a lot of evidence. He
Yeah.
does
Let
have
me-
a lot of
Let
evidence.
me just give my side of that, okay? So when we do the show each week, John sends a link out to everybody. And all people have to do is you click on the link and it takes you to it and whatever. All of a sudden, starting last week, when you look at the link page that he sends, it used to give the web page on the bottom.
Yeah.
And I don't do it off my phone. I go on the desktop. I don't have Facebook or Messenger on my desktop. I've never downloaded it. I've never logged in. Never nothing. It's only on my phone and phone only. Not even on the laptops upstairs, ever. So I have to type it into the computer on Google and go through StreamYard
with the typewriter.
with the typewriter. So all of a sudden now John sends out these links and it doesn't show the link anymore. It just shows the stupid picture of StreamYard with a microphone and that's it. So I say to him, what is the link? Because me clicking on it on my phone doesn't do anything. It's going to take me on my phone. I have to go through it on the computer. So I need the words to show me what site am I going to. Because it changes each week. It's not just StreamYard.com, guys. It's like StreamYard / and then it gives you like 9 digits of craziness.
Yeah, you'll see that on Exhibit C.
So,
Shane.
or D.
Or D. All right. Well, we'll have to stay tuned for after Christmas, sometime after Christmas, to get part 2, and Shane can give his side of the story. And
What is that when the court they asked the court for a stay or something? Charles would know.
yeah,
We'd like to continue this
we're going to recess
trial.
Yeah,
We're going to recess and reconvene the trial after Christmas. or
after
something.
Christmas. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll
You
do
got to
after
recess.
Christmas. So tell us what you think in the comments below.
Get
Who
your,
is
Get
guilty?
your mallet down.
Oh, the
Gavel.
Gavel.
I've got a gavel, but I don't have it over here.
Use
So
your hand. Use your hand.
we are convening this session.
There you go.
Yeah, to be reconvened at a later date
Why was the
Once-
knuckle up?
because I'm holding the gavel.
Well, if we're convening it, that means we're starting it, right?
Well, yeah, that's right. We're Stop it. We're reconvening at a later date. We
There
are
you go.
concluding this.
And you hit the gavel just holding all like your fingers in the. Why is that one up like that though?
Because I'm holding the gavel.
He's holding his pizza.
All right. So please subscribe to the channel. We have a giveaway going on right now. We're giving away a graded 85 plus Luke Skywalker Jedi.
Exhibit E.
Exhibit E. We'll put that up with a blue lightsaber. So once we reach 5,000 subs, we're going to be
So
giving that
cool.
away for
So
free.
free, guys. Free.
Support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/580 Talking Toys. Tons of exclusives there. And like this video, comment on who you think logged Chris out. The latest in the meddling. Right.
The meddler.
meddler.
Shane, the
The
meddler.
meddler.
All right. Well, guys, have a good evening, and we'll see you next time on 580's Talking Toys.
Good night.
Thank you.